to me, the big overarching theme, there's lots of bands that have had personnel changes. But what's fascinating when you go through the whole history in this book is that not only did the personnel change, but the sound changed from time to time. And yet, it was still always the Doobie Brothers. And so I'm curious if you can define what is the through line, the commonality that makes every version the Doobie Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
We always had different musics, and every record, and different writers. Tommy and I wrote songs, and Tyran Porter wrote. All the guys that were ever involved in the band always contributed a lot to the songs. We'd write them, but by the time they, were finished, to let me know if you think this is true, Tom, but that, the other guys in so many ways had as much to do with, making the songs
they contributed to the sound. I agree.
As what those songs were. You listen to some of the iconic stuff that Tyran Porter played on the records. Ty just killed it every time. Such a talented bass player. He was more than a bass player.
Pat made a good point in that even from the very beginning, before we were even signed, whoever wrote the song brought it in or into the basement in the very early days and played it for everybody, and everybody would come up with ideas, and it became Tyran as the go-to bass player after the initial bass player left. But Tyran played bass like I'd never heard anybody play bass, and that was a big deal. He had his own way of playing, and he played with a pick, but you didn't sound like a pick. And the melodic lines he would use were completely original. I'd never heard anybody play bass like that. But we always had vocal ideas together. Like you didn't walk down and say, I want this guy to do this. It wasn't like that. It was like, I hate to use this word, but it's like a family, whatever, of people that got together.
Yeah.
And they say, let's try this. And, each guy would have his place, whether it was high, middle, or low, where the harmonies went. And if I came down with an idea strumming wise, Pat would always have a picking idea. I would try to do strumming wise for his stuff. And so it was a group effort, even though, so-and-so wrote it, but really Pat's right. It became kind of in a sense, a group effort. And then Ted Templeman would, when we got to that point, which wasn't very much longer after that, add his ideas, which were always really good, and help professionalize the sound of the band.